What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Koral. He is Kevin Kaduk, and you are watching Midway Minute. Remember, subscribe to Midway Minute, to our newsletter at midwayminute.win, and become one of our super friends. Well, this is the week 3, where the Bears may find out who they really are as they go up against the 0-2 Atlanta Falcons. The question that we should ask, maybe right off the top, are the Bears overrated at 2-0?
Okay, Scott. So I think overrated is the wrong word. I don't know if you saw the poll that SB Nation ran. There's 11 teams that are 2-0. The Bears are obviously one of them. And they asked which 2-0 team is the biggest fraud. 63% of people answered the Bears. I don't know if I can exactly blame them because the Bears are 2 plays away from being 0-2. But do you think fraud is a little bit of a harsh word?
Probably. Inconsistent is definitely the word I think I would use, because we don't know what this defense truly is. The offense has been good for 3 out of the 8 quarters that they've played, but they have, like, you've seen the potential. So there's a lot there to like. Yeah. You just want to see it across 4 quarters on one particular day, just one.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And I think it has to be this day because going down there to Atlanta, I think they're going to be obviously facing the toughest offense that they've seen so far. And it's really going to take a complete game to go on the road. And it's not the usual tough road environment that you'll be facing in Atlanta, which I think probably points in favor of the Bears. And Julio Jones is a game-time decision. But still, I think if going forward, if the Bears really want to swing, people towards that side and say, hey, this is the biggest fraud 3-0 team. They really have to, I think, really lay the smackdown, so to speak, going here against the Falcons.
Well, one thing that Raheem Morris, the defensive coordinator for the Falcons, said is he expects to give Mitchell Trubisky a heavy dose of blitzing. But when that's happened, Trubisky hasn't come through quite as well as we would have hoped. So if that happens, what do you expect from the offense?
Well, obviously, that's always been the book on Trubisky. You blitz him, you throw a lot of stuff at him, you make him go through his reads, which, he hasn't been great at. Obviously, that's been one of his major problems. But this is something that going in, you have to make sure that your play actions are going right. You have to make sure that he knows where he's going with the ball. I'd like to see, if you throw the blitzes at him, let's get these tight ends involved. All offseason long, we were told, Cole Kmet and Jimmy Graham were going to change things and change the approach. They haven't caught many balls so far, so I think that's going to be key going down there.
You mentioned the play actions, and one thing that I noticed, I went back and watched the film of the last game against the Giants, and in that first quarter, Mitch Trubisky actually did those play action fakes extremely well. After that, he went back to his normal, just run-of-the-mill, going through the motions type of play action. And every quarter after that is when he had a worse quarter. So that's one thing that I think Trubisky really has to get done here. Execute those play action fakes like you mean it, because they're expecting David Montgomery to run the ball. They're expecting Tariq Cohen to get a lot of catches, and that's fine. You execute play action the way it's supposed to be done, you might have a successful offense.
The Bears have a lot of ingredients where they can be an explosive team, and I think they're going to need to be an explosive team against this Falcons offense. I mean, you're probably looking at a total for both teams in the high 20s, even low 30s. Is this a Bears offense that could keep up? I don't know because, Montgomery and Cohen might have a good game, but as we saw last week, the wide receivers didn't. This has really got to be like an all-out attack. The Falcons in years prior have shown that, you can have 4 or 5 guys really lighting up that stat sheet. It has to be the same for the Bears.
Well, this is a game where Dan Quinn is probably fighting for his job. So what's your prediction of this game?
This one is so hard because, you don't want to be called a Bears homer by picking the Bears. And I think this is a really tough game. Obviously, the Falcons have had their problems over the first 2 games, losing to the Seahawks and then last week's laugher against the Cowboys, which was a complete heartbreaker. I'm not going to pick the Bears in this situation until they really prove to me. I think they'll be competitive. I think it'll be an entertaining game. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at Falcons 29, Bears 24.
Ooh, you have it high scoring. I don't. I said Falcons 20.
Yeah.
I said Falcons 23, Bears 13. And I think the defense is going to play okay. I don't think Trubisky is. And some of that is really not going to be on Trubisky. I think it's going to be on Nagy with his play calling. Mm-hmm. You know you're going to be facing a heavy blitz. Get the ball out as quickly as you can. But I think part of that is Trubisky's going to revert back to poor mechanics. I think he's going to throw a pick. I think it's going to end up being a pick six. And I think they're going to have to play catch up all game. So I said 23-13 Falcons.
That's giving the Falcons defense that's giving the Falcons defense a little too much credit, I think, but we'll see what happens on Sunday.
Very true. Well, that's our Bears-Falcons preview. Be sure to catch us for the review on Sunday night and Monday morning at midwayminute.win. Subscribe to our newsletter, and you can become one of our super friends.